Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to learn background subtraction using the Mediapipe library. They have recently released this model and we are going to use this to do background subtraction. So as you can see, it looks pretty good. On the left hand side, you can see we have the original image. On the right hand side, we have the image with the alternate background. And if I press the D button, it changes the background in real time. And you can see the frame rate is quite good. It is around 40-ish frames per second. It goes even higher and we can keep changing the background as we wish. So right now we have three backgrounds. As you can see, the index at the bottom, you can see it is changing to up to 2. But check this out. If I close this and if I bring in the folder which has these 3 images and I simply drag in 7 more images, now if I run it again, it will have a total of 10 backgrounds. So now you can see we have a lot more images. We have a total of 10 backgrounds and it automatically detected all of these and enhanced our program. And now we can click and we can change the background in real time as we like. So we are going to learn all of this, and all of this is written pretty much, let me show you, in literally less than 40 lines of code. So stay tuned and let's get started. So the first thing we will do is to open up PyCharm and we are going to create a new project and let's call it background remover. You can name it anything you want. We will create that. So this is our new project. What we can do is to remove all of this code. It already has a main.py file, so we do not need to create a new file. So what we will do first is go to File, we will go to Settings, and then we will go to our project interpreter and then we will add our packages. Now the first package that we need is the CVZone package. So we will click on CVZone and we will install that. And this will automatically install OpenCV for us and NumPy as well. Then the main library that we are using today is the Mediapipe library. So the Mediapipe package has a new model, the selfie segmentation. So we will be using that. Here you can see the result. So if we go down, they have provided us with the code. Now, if you want to use this again and again, this code might be a little bit too much to repeat for every project. So what we have done is we have created a module within the CVZone package, which allows us to do this within a few lines of code, maybe 2-3 lines, and we will be able to remove the background and add our own images to it. So that's why we will be using the CVZone wrapper package, and then we will install the Mediapipe, and that is pretty much what we need for this project. So we can close this and we will wait for it to install. So now the libraries are installed and we can go ahead and start writing the code. So first of all, we are going to import CV2, which is the OpenCV package, and then we will import CVZone, and then we are going to import the selfie segmentation module. So we will directly import our class. So we will say from CVZone dot selfie segmentation module import selfie segmentation. So we are calling it selfie segmentation because this is what they name their model. And then we will also need OS. So we will use that later on to get our images. So the first thing we will do is we will open up our webcam. So we will write here cap.cv2.video capture. So we are creating the object here, and then we will set the frame to 640. So the width will be 640 and the height will be cap.set, the height will be 480. So 3 is for the width and 4 is for the height. So once we set that, then we are going to display it. So we will go down, we will write while true, we are going to get our image. So we will write success and image is equals to cap.read, and then we will write cv2.imshow, and we want to show our image and we want to show the actual image. This is the name of the window. This is the actual image. And then we will write cv2.wait key, and we will give a delay of 1. So this is 1 milliseconds. So this should open up our webcam and it should run it. So let's try it out before we go any further to see if everything is working. There you go. So we can see that now the webcam is running. So we can go ahead and write the code for our background removal. So the first thing we need to do is to create our selfie segmentation object. So what we will do is we will write here that our segmenter is equals to selfie segmentation. So here we have the option to choose the model number. So based on their documentation, if you have the model number 0, it is a generalized model, which will be a little bit slower. If you have model number 1, it will be for landscape, which will be a little bit faster. So we are using model number 1 by default. If you want to change, you can use model number 0 as well. So then the next thing will be to run our detector, or not the detector, the segmenter. So we will write here that our segmenter dot remove background, and in that we are just going to give in our image, and then we have the option to give in one is the color and the second is the image. So if you give a color, it will put the background as a color. If you give an image, it will put it as an image. So let's say we will put here 2550 and 255. So it will look really bad, but it will give us a purple background. So let's try that. And then we will also write, we will output an image out, and we will print it out. So let's copy this and we will write image out. And here we are also going to write image out. So let's try to run this and see what happens. There you go. So as you can see now, it is very easy to remove the background. You just have to write a single line of code, and now you can see there is a purple background. If you wanted to change it to any other color, for example, we want it blue, so then yeah, we will write it 0, and then we will write 0 here as well. So if we run that, so now it should be blue. There you go. So now the image is blue. Now one thing we can do is that on the side, if you see that it is not cutting properly, you can give a threshold here. So there is a option for threshold, and the threshold value can be, for example, if it is 1, it will cut everything. So it will be a complete blue color image. Now they have recommended a value of 0.1, so it will not cut that much, but let's try something like 0.8, and then it will cut quite a bit, so it will not show the edges that much. So let's try that. And there you go. So now the cutting is much less than before. And if we go even further, let's say 9.5, then it will cut even further and it will give us a little bit better result. But if you move your hands a lot, then your hands will get cut as well. So you have to make sure to find that balance. So here you can see now the seat is getting cut a lot over here as well. So you need to find that balance. Let's say we will keep it at 0.8 for now, and later on we can see if we want to change it. So the next thing, the thing that I don't like is that these two images are separate. So what we can do is we can write here that our CVZone dot stack images, and we want to stack our image and image out. So that's how simple it is. We want only 2 columns, and the scale, we want it exactly as it is. So we will write 1. So, and we can save it in image stacked. And then we can simply output the stacked image, and we can remove this part. So it will display both of them together. So this way it is easier to play around with it. There you go. So now you can see both of them are side by side. So it is easier to run it. And before we go any further, let's go ahead and look at the segmenter. So if we click on selfie segmentation, this is the module that has been created using the code that was provided by Mediapipe. So here you can see that we are initializing in the init function, and then we have the remove background method, which basically converts the image into RGB, and then it sends it to the model selfie segmentation to process. And then we simply use this functionality to see if it is a color, then it will change the color of the background. If it's not a color, then it will change the image. So this is how simple it is. So you can go ahead and look further into it. They have given the documentation of this as well, and they have also explained it with a little bit of comments. But if you just want to run it, then this pretty much is what you require. This and these two lines of code, and that is pretty much it. So then the next step, what we will do is we will write the frame rate so that we can see how much frame rate are we getting. So here we are going to write that our FPS reader is equals CVZone, and we are going to write .fps. So this will help us write the FPS on our image. We don't need to write or draw anything. Simply we will say that our FPS reader .updates, and we will send in our image on which we want to display. So this could be, actually let's do it below over here, and then we can put it on the stacked image, and then it can return us this stacked image, and it will also return us the FPS. So we don't need it, but we can store it in a variable, or we can just put underscore if we just want to neglect it. So then it should display us. So let's see how it displays. There you go. So it is displaying this frame rate here. It's around 30-ish frames per second, but it's not very visible. Let's change the color for it. So we will write here color, and we will change it to 0, 0, and 255. So we'll make it red. There you go. It's a little bit clear, more clearer, but still it's a little bit hard to read. Maybe if we push it here, it will be easier, but then we have to add the backgrounds, so it might change the color. So let's just keep it here. One more thing I want to try, I haven't tried that out. Let's try to increase the frame rate. So the camera I'm using goes up to 60 FPS. So let's write here the prop ID. So let's write it as cap, let's write cv2 underscore prop underscore FPS, and we will make it 60. So let's see if it increases the frame rate. Well, didn't have much of a big effect. I can see it's more towards 40-ish now. Earlier it was more towards 30-ish. So maybe a little bit bump we can see. Okay, so then the next thing we will do is how to add images. So I have a lot of images. You can download this from our website computervision.zone. The link will be in the description. So what we will do is we will show in Explorer, and then we are going to create a new folder here, and we will call it images. And within these images, we are going to add a few images. At first, we will add 3. Later on, we will add some more. So these are the 3 images that we added. Now, one thing to note here is that they are exactly the same size, 640 by 480. And this is what we are using here. So they have to be exactly the same size, otherwise they will not work. So if you just want to have one image, how can you do this? It's very simple. All you have to do is you have to import that image. So what we will say is that image background is equals to cv2.imread. So it will read the image, and we are going to say read it from the images and read, let's say, 1.jpg. So once we read that, we will just copy this and we will paste it. Instead of the color, we will paste an image, and that's pretty much it. So if I run this now, it should show me the new image rather than a color. And there you go. So that's how simple it is. Now it is showing us this background image, and it looks pretty good. It looks pretty decent. And if you were looking from, far away, you might actually think I am sitting in that house, which is pretty neat, by the way. And so we can try out different images. We can change the background. But what we want to do is we want to change it while we are running the program. So how can we do that? It's very simple. We will need, first of all, OS, and then we need to list down all the images that are in this folder. So we will write here that our list for our images is equals to os.list directory, and we want the list directory from the images folder. So if we print that out, so let's print out, what was the name? List image. So let's run that. There you go. So it is giving me all these names of these images. So we can use these names to import all these images like this, and we will store it in a list rather than a single variable. So what we will do is we will write here that this is our image list is equals to empty, and then we will say that for image path in list of our images, we are going to write image is equals to cv2.imread, and we want to read the image within the images folder and then slash the path image path. So it will take this part. So we can write here image path. So one by one it will import these images, and then we will put them in our list, image list.append, and we can write here image. So at the end of the day, we will have 3 images here. So if I print this and we print the length of our image list, it should give us 3. So let's run that. And there you go. So it gives us the value of 3. So next, what we can do is, instead of writing image background here, we can write here image list at 0. Image list at 1, image list at 2, and so on. So instead of doing that, what we will do is we will keep changing this value based on how many times we press the button. So we will call this value, let's say index of the image. And let's say it is 0 by default. So if I run this now, it should give me the same image as before. And even if I remove this part, it should work fine. I remove the importing of the single image. So even with that, it should run fine. So there you go. It is using that image from the list, and then it's displaying this. So that's pretty much good. Now what we need to do is we need to keep changing this value if we click a button. So how can we do that? We can put this into a key. So we can write here key is equals to this. And down here, we are going to check what is this key. If key is equals to ORD, which means that we are clicking the A button, then we will write that index image minus equals 1. For A, we are going to write minus. For D, we are going to write plus. And then I will copy this same thing, and we will paste it 2 more times. And here we are going to write, if it is D, then we will make it +1. And if it is Q, we will break the loop. We will exit. But all the rest of them should be else if. So we will write here else if and else if. And what to check if we are heading in the right direction, we can simply print the value of the index image so that we know how are we moving. So let's run this. Okay, so now the image is used as 0, And if I press the D button, it will go to the next image. And if I press D again, it will go to the next. I can press A to go back and then press A again to go back. But what happens if I press A again? It will go to -1. Then it will go to -2. And then it says out of range. So there is no -3. So it will not go there. So we need to make sure what happened here. We need to make sure that it doesn't exceed the limit that we have. So for minus, we are going to say, we need to check first if the image index is greater than 0, then only perform this. If it is equal to 0 or if it's less than that, then it will not do this because it cannot go below 0. And the same thing we will do here. We will check if the index image is less than the length of our image list -1. If that is the case, then we will keep adding. If it's equal to this, we will stop. We will not add more to it because that's the limit. So let's run that and see if it works. Okay, so I will press the D button. It will go forward, forward, and now I'm pressing and it doesn't go any further. And if I go back, again, I'm pressing, but it doesn't go any further. It doesn't go back. So this is good. It means we can add images and it will automatically check how many images are there and it will accommodate that figure. Now to test it further, what we can do is we can take this folder and we can add more images to it. So I will drag 7 more images here. And now we have a total of 10 images. So we should be able to have 10 different backgrounds. Now we do not need to change anything in the code. We simply run it again and it will automatically detect that there are 10 images and it can go up to 10 and it can go up to 0. So it will automatically do that and we should be able to move around. So let's try it. So look at the index below. So it is at 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and there it is. So it can go up to 9 and then we can go backwards and you can see all these backgrounds, they are changing. Personally, this is my favorite one because it looks natural. It's looking like I am sitting in that home. Well, but if you look at the detail, it's not that good, but still. Again, you can add a little bit of blurring to the edges and you can do a lot of different things to enhance this, to make it look more original, more natural. So you can take it as far as you wish. This is like a blackboard. So again, all of these images are available to download from my website. Again, you can use your own images. It's not a big deal. But if you are a bit lazy, you don't want to resize the images, you can go ahead and download it from the website. And the code will be also available on the website, so you can download it from there. So this is it for today's video. I hope you have learned something new. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.